Hey everybody, this is Dead Winter Dead with another Battlefield 4 video for you. Today, we're going to take a look at a steamroll. Now, one of the last videos that I showed you was a round of rush on Silk Road, where we had a lot of teamwork. It wasn't necessarily me being Rambo, carrying the team to victory on my shoulders like a weak, sick child. No, it was all teamwork. It was all random puppies, and we pulled together, and we knew what had to get done to make sure that we won the round. Now, this particular match, it was another random server. I forgive me, I can't remember the server, but it was a random server, just puppies. I wasn't on any kind of voice channel or anything. I wasn't with any of my friends. It was just a random server I joined in the afternoon to try to get some game time in, and we got steamrolled. Now, we had played a round of rush against this same team before this round, and it was a pretty even match. They ended up losing, but it was really quick. They had us down to the very last set of MCOMs, the last MCOM, and we were able. It was like a clutch defuse, and we were able to pull it out. But it seems like on YouTube you see a lot of players, they kind of cherry pick their moments, and they show like the clutch moments and like, look how good I was. And since one of the goals of this channel is for me to learn how to be a better player, and for you guys to kind of be on this journey with me to become better players by watching me basically get, steamrolled, or watch what I do good, whatever the case may be. I wanted to show this simply because I had put up that Silk Road one, and I just don't want to be one of those YouTubers that just cherry picks, his montage moments where he always looks good and he always has a positive KD, and they're always just being a ninja basically. I want to show what it looks like to get steamrolled. Now, I know a lot of you understand what it feels like to be steamrolled, because I'm sure most of you have. Anybody, it doesn't matter if you're the best Battlefield player in the world, you know what it feels like to be steamrolled, because sometimes the odds are just stacked against you. In this case, the teams were pretty evenly matched number-wise, but we were way outgunned, skill-wise. I mean, these guys were just brutal. And you'll see I put this Claymore down, and a little later on in the match, it pays off. I find that on some of these kind of jungle maps, or these maps that have a lot of vegetation, if you set your Claymore in kind of a random, in a random spot where someone's not going to be thinking about Claymores, but a spot that that there's going to be foot traffic eventually. Now, if you set a Claymore in a hallway or around a corner, or in a doorway, let's say like on Operation Locker, everybody's looking for Claymores on Op Locker, because, I mean, that's Claymore heaven. There's a lot of tight corners, a lot of right angles, and people just run around the corner without looking. And people expect that, so they might not do that. But on these open maps, if you pick a place that there's going to be a lot of high foot traffic, maybe a little later on, especially Rush, once they take this base, there will be some high foot traffic through that area down to the beach, to cross the little inlet, to get to the island, to cross to the next larger island to try to take out our MCOMs. I know that that's going to happen if they take this area. So I just kind of plant the Claymore and wait for somebody to step on it, and it pays off a little later. But anyway, well, there you go. There's a look at the teams. They're kind of stacked. You got a lot of guys on one team. We're outnumbered by maybe 3 or 4. But regardless, these guys were just good. These guys were really, really good. And right there, you see that Claymore. That's where that Claymore paid off. Somebody, they capped our base. They ran down to the beach in victory, probably high-fiving their buddies. Hey, we just rolled these noobs. Boom, right into a Claymore, because you never expect it out in the open, in like an open terrain environment like this. You always expect it in a building or in a doorway. So keep that in mind when you're planting your Claymores. But here, these guys are doing exactly what I was preaching on the previous Silk Road video. I mean, they cross the inlet, which is behind this little island. They're getting a foothold on this island. They have a boat that's moved up and is trying to lay fire onto this beach to keep our heads down. They're working in unison. They're working as a team. They're moving up 2 by 2. I mean, you know, we have our bloody nose. We've got our bloody nose. We've got our broken jaw, and they've got us on our heels. I mean, we are just rocking back and forth. And, you know, hats off to these guys. These guys really, really did a great job, a stellar job, and you really can't, you know, pick a better moment for a rush attacker team to just, and you know, it wasn't a straight steamroll in the sense that every single set of MCOMs, they armed them, and they armed them once, and they blew up once, and then you moved on. You know, it wasn't a little 5-minute match where just, you know, it was like, you know, NFL players playing against, you know, tater tot players. It was, you know, we were holding our own a little bit, and I was holding my own a little bit, and, you know, trying to do my best. As you can see, I'm using the QBB LMG. Another YouTuber kind of turned me onto this. His name's Windshear. He plays on PS4 mostly, but he put out a video, and he's, you know, he kind of flip-flops which LMG he enjoys. But right now he's stuck on this one, and I was like, oh, yeah, I should take a look at this. So I've been playing with this for the last couple of days. I play with it a little bit on BF3, and it was kind of a novelty thing. You know, I kind of liked the way the gun looked. It was kind of this, you know, goofy-looking LMG. So I play with it, you know, just for that reason alone, that it was just different. But I didn't really find it as effective as some of the others, and I'm kind of finding that here. I'm kind of finding that it's just, I mean, it's all right. It's kind of middle of the road. It's all right. You might fall in love with it and think it's the greatest weapon ever, or it could very easily be a weapon that you just pass over. And right here, right there, I just blew that opportunity. I had the opportunity to get above the enemy and fire down into their covered positions. If I had had a suppressor, and if I had used probably a better sight, I might have been able to get the drop on them. But I didn't get a single kill, and there was at least 4 guys behind that row of sand blocks, and I just blew that opportunity. So, I mean, like I said, I want to show you my mistakes as well as my triumphs. And if you can see what I do, you know, and look at that and laugh at me and be like, wow, you know, Dead Winter Dead is just, I mean, he's screwing this up, and look at this lost opportunity, blah blah blah. You know, I want you to be able to do that, so you can see my mistakes and the mistakes I make, and you know, when I do well, you can see those as well. I mean, this is kind of like, you know, sorry to use the football adage again, but this is kind of like looking at game footage. You know, afterwards you're able to look at game footage and be like, wow, I totally missed that. I absolutely missed that. I should have went this way when I went that way. So, I mean, it's kind of therapeutic to kind of look at this and be like, geez, man, what was I thinking here? This was my very first round of the afternoon, and really I was really just having fun. I was trying to get some more kills with the QBB, and I was just goofing off. And since I had a lot of really good experiences with Rush in the past few days, I decided to join a Rush server. I'm not particularly fond of Rush right now as it stands. I've always enjoyed Rush, or I've tried to. BF3, I played a little bit, but my most memorable, or the memories that I have of Rush that are the fondest to me were in Battlefield Bad Company 2. That was, for some reason, those maps were just perfect for Rush, and they didn't really favor one team or the other. You were able to, I mean, you had an advantage and a disadvantage regardless of what side. Battlefield 4, that kind of changed. It depended on the map, and Battlefield 3. But with Battlefield 4, it seems like I'm not going to speak too much on the vanilla maps, but really the new DLC maps, China Rising, it really does favor the defenders. The attackers are always in just a terrible position, which is why you have to be aggressive and you have to push up. And you have to get up on those objectives and just, like I said, keep the defenders rocked back on their heels, you know, holding their nose because you just gave them a bloody nose or a black eye. And like I said earlier, props to this team. That's exactly what they did here. I could see them so often, you know, working in unison with each other, outflanking us, using suppressed weapons, which is key, getting behind us. It was fun because I was like, wow, these guys are good. These guys are just beating us like a circus monkey. And you know, I tried my best to hold my own, and I tried to, you know, do what I thought was best for the team. But in the end, you know, it just didn't work out. So, like I said, guys, I just wanted to bring you this this fail moment of mine, because what good is me producing Battlefield videos if I don't show you the fail moments? You know, not every YouTuber is a super ninja, and not every YouTuber has the best gaming day. So just remember that you know, we're all human and we all have our bad days. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna play some more Rush, and I'm gonna try to get some good flanking routes down and try to bring kind of some tips and tricks about some of these different maps to you guys. But my name's Dead Winter Dead. Thanks for watching.